this Packers season. Plus, the committee speaks. We'll tell you the one scenario they left wide open that could throw absolutely everything into chaos. We've got all that and more as we get up with you starting right now on this day before Thanksgiving. Heather Dinich is here, which means someone is back at her house cooking like crazy right now. Meantime, because I'm me, I'm in constant contact with our Jets reporters. If there's any news on Zach Wilson, I promise you will get it here immediately. And look at the squad we put together to talk everything through. We got Dominique. We got the big fella Chris Canty. We got Tim Hasselbeck is back, and Paul Feinbaum is here to break down what the committee did last night. Let's begin with the Thanksgiving showdown in Dallas tomorrow. Cowboys, traditional hosts. They will take on the G-Men. Dallas, pass rush, dominant. They get pressure on 40% of their dropbacks. That's the best by any team through 10 games since we started tracking that in 2009. On the offensive side, Cowboys have been among the league's best since Dak came back. Top 5 in points, yards per play, and third down rate. And now, Dak facing a Giants team that he has historically dominated. Dak Prescott has reeled off 9 straight wins over the G-Men, posting a QBR of 79, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Here was Dak with reporters looking ahead to the game.
Jerry said after the game that that performance convinces him that you guys are Super Bowl contenders. What do you think when you hear the owner of the team talking like that?
I mean, I was convinced before. Yeah, I mean, he tells you guys a lot of things. I'm not going to get caught up on one of his statements. As I said, we laid a brick last week, a pretty good one, but we've got to turn the page from that and make sure that we do that again this Thursday and just continue to progress.
Okay, so Caesars says Dallas is a 9.5-point favorite on this Thanksgiving Day. Dallas 1-10 against the spread the last 11 Thanksgivings, including losing outright as a favorite on Thanksgiving each of the last 3 years, which would suggest that an upset, perhaps even a stunning one, could be in the offing. But there's no way anyone on this panel is going to be crazy enough or brilliant enough to foresee that. Is there? Let's call that foreshadowing. Kalen, put the picks up on the screen. I want everyone to see that Chris Canty is picking the Giants in what would be a stunning upset. Chris Canty, take us through it. How are the G-Men going to knock off the Cowboys tomorrow?
Well, gee, it's not complicated. There's only one path to victory for the Giants, and that's running the football. We saw the blueprint laid out by the Green Bay Packers a couple of weeks in Lambeau. You come out in big people, and you force those fast, twitch, athletic guys for the Dallas Cowboys defensive front to play the run 40-plus times. If you look at the New York Giants following their 2 previous losses, they've run the ball 47 times and 44 times, respectively, with Saquon Barkley getting 30 rush attempts in each of those games. So I anticipate that's the Giants' formula for success. And you hear the comments from Brian Daboll. They don't want to get behind schedule on offense. It's going to be Saquon. Try to keep the game in manageable situations for Daniel Jones, but the run game will be the engine for the New York Giants being able to pull off the upset on Thanksgiving Day.
How do you like it, Neek? We lost Neek? He can't believe it. Dominique is so stunned by Chris Canty's picks that his signal went down. Chris has absolutely knocked everybody out. Let me go to Tim. Look at him. Actually, that's a pretty cool look. He looks like a music video. We'll work on him. I'll get to Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck, are you buying it?
I was saying that there's no way that in that game against Green Bay, the Packers were still down by 14 headed in the fourth quarter. And we know that the Giants are incapable of scoring anything more than 24 points. They'll give you somewhere between 19 to 24. If the Cowboys can score their regular amount of points, which I think they can because the Giants defense has some good defensive linemen, but they're a little deficient in the talent category. I think it's going to be really hard for them to score with them. The problem isn't can the Cowboys stop the run. I think they're going to have a hard time with this Giants run, but I don't think the Giants have a chance of scoring with the Cowboys, particularly the way they've been scoring lately. So it's nice. You can hope for that, especially when you have some ties to that team. Maybe that could be skewing part of your selection, but I think it's unrealistic to suspect that the Giants, a team that we know have overachieved all season, has a real chance in this game on Thursday.
That is the interesting way of looking. Hasselbeck, let me come to you on that, because the world will look at this as Saquon against the Cowboys' running defense. But I'm sort of with Neek. This game, to me, will come down to if the Cowboys can score 24, 28 points, and they've been doing it regularly against a good Giant defense, that might be too much for Daniel Jones. How do you see the game?
Yeah, Greeny, I think you're right. And listen, you're saying 24. What if they score 31 points? Because that's what they're averaging in Dak's last 21 starts. They're averaging 31 points and 400 yards of offense with Dak as the starting quarterback. I think people need to understand how well Dak Prescott is playing. I mean, you just go to the start of last season. Again, starts, that Dak Prescott has had. Look, they've been the #1 offense in football. Not the Bills with Josh Allen, not the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott as a starter. So, yeah, I don't think it's just about, Saquon running it against that Dallas defense and all that. That is the formula. Chris is right. That's the formula. You obviously want to keep that Dallas offense off the field, but let's just also kind of give them some respect for how good they've been offensively with Dak as the starting quarterback.
And Chris, let me come back to you. I mean, I love the take, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. We're all, those of us without a rooting interest are just rooting for a good game. But I think a lot of people have looked at the Giants the last couple of games and thought they've been exposed. This was a team that was doing it with smoke, mirrors, and great coaching, and now they've been exposed. Does this pick by you suggest to me that you, Chris Canty, actually believe the Giants are somewhat for real and will be interesting the final month or two of this season?
Yeah, G, I think what we saw last week against Detroit is an outlier. If you look at it, it's the first game where Daniel Jones has multiple interceptions, and the only game this season where the New York Giants have 3 turnovers, and then compound that with Saquon Barkley having the fewest touches and the fewest yards from scrimmage. And I think you can understand why the Giants found themselves on the losing end of that game against the Lions. But I don't anticipate that being the case on a short week. I think the Giants do get back to basics. They did lose Wan'Dale Robinson early in the fourth quarter, which forces them more to be reliant on the run game. So going up against a defense that is 30th in run stop win rate, I think that's the opportunity for the Giants to shorten the game and keep that Cowboys offense off the field.
I like the way you're thinking. Everybody stay right where you are. We have much more on the 3 very interesting NFL games.
Dr. Pepper call-in line 888-SAY-ESPN 729-3776. Daniel in West Virginia, who is your sports villain and why?
My sports villain is Bernard Pollard because he was the Patriots killer for 4 different years. He altered some of our star players.
Make contact with 38.
Oh, someone's
where are you right now? Where are you? Are you in? Are you driving?
Pulled over. So
where's he driving to?
No. I'm pulled over. I might be on the clock at work. That might be my radio going off, but they weren't talking to me right now.
Oh, I love it. Calling us on the job. That's what it's about.
That's right. I hope there are kids
Bernard
listening.
Pollard, huh?
Bernard
Cut
Pollard.
school to call us. Oh, no, there's no school today.
No school today.
All right. Bernard Pollard, yeah, listen, if you got a hard-hitting safety that plays against your team, I could see where they'd be a
I can feel that.
villain.
This is what I love about it, though. You can tell it's personal, though. Why is he your villain, though? Why?
Well, in 2008, you remember he took out Brady's knee, hit from behind. It's not that it was a totally dirty hit. It was just unfortunate. He hit Ridley in the head on a helmet-to-helmet hit, which was legal at the time and caused him to fumble when we were driving to tie the game in the championship game that we ended up losing. He hurt Gronk's ankle the game before the Super Bowl against the Giants, which we lost that one, and Gronk wasn't full health. And then another year in the playoffs when he was with the Texans, Welker was cutting away from him and ended up tearing his ACL, so we didn't make it to that Super Bowl in that year either.
Yeah, those are some good reasons.
I'm glad I wasn't around him.
By the way, I figured out my sports villain, guys. Listen, I figured out my sports villain. It's very obvious when it was right in front of my face. James Dolan. That's my sports villain.
Right here in your own backyard?
Yep, that's my sports villain.
You can't wait to anytime there's a Knicks subject, you always bring it right back to James Dolan.
By the way, this is my last year of my 40s. I'll be 50 in August, right next August. I have not been alive for a Knicks championship.
You guys are playing great basketball right now.
Oh yeah,
I'll loan you one, Max.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We've been talking a lot about the Chiefs, guys, being the class of the AFC, especially over the past few weeks. But also a lot of talk about teams like the Bills to start the season, especially in preseason. The Dolphins as the season's worn on. The Ravens kind of flying under the radar. They were my preseason Super Bowl pick. But along those lines, are we sleeping on the Bengals in the AFC and also staying in the AFC, the Titans, right? So AFC, you think Chiefs, and then preseason Bills, and then since then Dolphins. Ravens get some buzz because Lamar's in the contract year and everything, or didn't sign didn't work out a new deal. They're the Bengals and the Titans. Look at these odds. Buffalo is still plus 200 for some reason.
I just couldn't do nothing but laugh just now.
That's ridiculous. But anyway, I suppose front to back they have a better team, but they don't have Patrick Mahomes. Baltimore's